Hello, comrades. It's Premier Rever, and I am back for another episode looking down on the beautiful and wealthy, take a look at our money nowadays, city of Revergrad. We're so wealthy that I'm going to come in here to our construction and we're going to build a radio station. How's that sound for decadent? So that way we can raise our loyalty, which apparently at this point doesn't have a huge effect on much of anything. So in other words, in the future they plan on maybe this would cause riots or more people to escape, but from what I understand it really just doesn't matter. But I think that the radio station raises the loyalty, but again, I think we're just going to do it because we can. It's a relatively expensive building, but we produce everything but the few boards that we need, so we should be okay. Construction is stopped. Well, yeah, because we just assigned you. The only other thing that's happened over here in Revergrad, for the most part, is that I paved a bunch more of these roads, so we should be a little bit more efficient with things. I kind of stopped because, well, it just ran out of time as much as anything. In addition, trying to pave these roads with the construction office is I'm really causing power issues down here too. So I wanted to get on with an episode before I spent too much time between them. The main reason that I just spent time between the episodes was to build. I don't know if you remember, but our tracks are pushed further. I've got all of the tracks over here done, which is wonderful, and we've pushed the tracks, further this way. So we're just working on railroad tracks. I paved and built a few more roads up in this area. It's taken quite a while, especially to do these fancy roads that with the paths, like the roads with walkways, whatever they call them, because our warehouse burnt down over here. So I may try to rebuild the warehouse at some point, but until I get this fire station built, which I think might be able to cover up there, it's kind of far, but we'll see. Be a good experiment into how far the firehouse actually goes and covers. So anyway, but let's get that built first, and then we'll try to build it. In the meantime, they're just going to go all the way back to Gateway Love and get stuff. Eventually, it might make sense to put another warehouse in here, but we'll see. We'll rebuild that one. So for now, one of the main reasons I stopped, because I didn't do any construction on any buildings without you guys, is I'm going to go ahead and build that small bus platform. Why? Because, I don't know, I already built this one. These guys are working on roads, and then we'll maybe build this next. So we'll be ready to go. We got our power in fully now. I think that was a little bit of an update. I know that substation wasn't built. And now, what I would like to do, for the sake of this upcoming video, is I am going to pause it. And while that's not the favorite of some people, all we're going to be doing is focusing in on here. And I actually want to put a small cut in the video because this is going to be a bit of a mess. So I'm going to chop up the video quite a few times in order to get some leveling done. I don't want to just sit there for 10 minutes on the video leveling out of place, but let me put a real brief cut in the video and I'll be right back. Okay, well, thank you for allowing me to put the cut in, because not too long after I started building this complicated mess, the game crashed. So I just went and reassigned the constructions that we had assigned in the introduction, if you want to call it that, the first little segment of the video. And so anyway, let me see. Hopefully I can do this without it crashing again. Here's the plan. We want to build a chemical plant. And I'm thinking want to bring in everything by road or railroad. So first, look at that. Because it crashed, now we got that auto build. So if you ever do that, as long as you catch yourself when you're paused, you come up here and say, no, don't build that with Rubles. And then the other thing I like to do, if I do forget, come over here to my buildings, click on one, say, no, I don't want to get citizens, even if I don't plan on building, and no, I don't want to go auto purchase stuff. I wish they would leave that as the default not to do those things, or at least give you some kind of an option somewhere. So what I was trying to do is line up a railroad aggregate unloading. One of the things that the chemical plant needs is gravel. So we can bring our gravel. We already have a loading station down there. Oop, did I do loading? No. Yeah. We already have a loading, and this will be an unloading. There we go. That didn't take too long to level it out. Now, the good thing about these gravel things is because they're conveyor fed, in my opinion, the, what do you call it, just doesn't, you know, I'm going to push this. Let's delete some of this. Hopefully this all works out. This is about the third or fourth time I've, between the crash that I just had and other things. Let me make sure I get the right one. Yeah, I want to bring this forward just a bit, just so it's got a little bit of a flat spot before the train comes out of there. Oops. Doesn't have to be a massive flat spot, but it helps if this isn't, you know, let's turn on the wireframe. It helps if this doesn't just fall directly into this big red, I've found. Because then you can do things like this if you wanted, you know, and sort of you get a little more control over leveling things. So, you know, it doesn't like that. But at the same time, if we just give it a little, you know, I'm going to use the old-fashioned leveling tool. It doesn't. It's not going to like that. Let's use the old-fashioned raise it up a bit tool. Right, so now, can we just attach to here and say, give me, yeah, see how that little bit of, and then what we would do is probably something like that. I don't really see two trains at this point. So then what I would want, if we come back over to our storage options, it's probably as easy to get to it, just a small storage that would then take this, well, you know what, I don't think we're going to build this, but eventually we'll put a small storage somewhere that makes sense, and I'll show you what I mean by makes sense. Down a little bit further down the hill, let's take a look at our, oops, wrong one, our chemical plant. So we need gravel, which we just sort of have in. We need wood and crops. And what I would like to do to get the wood and crops in is put in, if you look at the direction that these things would come in, right? Like if we have an aggregate storage up here, that conveyor, let me zoom in a bit, by the stack there would come in from this direction, right? So it's one way or the other on the factory connection that's pointing away from us. I would like to bring in the other stuff. By that I mean the crops and the wood. So that means somehow, like right in this area, I would probably want a warehouse or something that I could connect to. But then we're also going to want a train unloading because the warehouse only has one connection, and I would really like 2 trains to be able to sit there. So let's go back over to trains and say, let's see, if we put a cargo station in here, something like this maybe even, probably put it at a nice angle or nicer. I don't know. Let's put it here and then we can level it more this way. Now, I don't know if I even like that. You know what? I think maybe what we want to, well here, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is just place these buildings and then come back off camera and sort of make sure everything levels and connects nicely. But there you go. So you get the idea with that. Now what we would want to do is put like a warehouse. Let me leave the road. Yeah, let's leave the road this way. Like we'll put a warehouse like in this neighborhood. Let's level it out a little bit. There we go. I think, you know, like I said, I'll if this doesn't all come together like a glove, like see, like right now, I'm going to have to do quite a bit of leveling. So what we can do, oops, wrong button. Let's get our chemical plant because I think we're kind of ready to place it. See, we can, if we can get this road to connect right here, we have to raise this up a bunch more. Yeah, so let me just place, this is something I'll level out when we get on. So there's no way that road's going to connect unless I either bring those down or... Right, so, but I don't doubt that we can get a connection from here to... Oh, look at that. Oh, make a liar out of me. Well, that's a... You know, maybe in this test version, they've made the roads more forgiving, right? So I didn't... Let's see, can we connect this one? Yeah, okay. Well, heck, maybe this will... I mean, I don't care if the roads are that flat, as long as I can get maybe a road up into here, but I don't doubt I probably can. We'll see. So let's go back and see if this railroad connection will... did I actually collect the railroad, right? I definitely want to be able to have a double here somehow. Yeah, you won't connect that way, will you? You know what, though? I bet you if I do this the opposite, I bet you it might connect. Oh. Let's get this guy connected. I bet you I can make this work. Yeah, it's kind of ugly, but you know, that would work, right? We'll see. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. You get the idea. I might straighten that out when we, at some point here. Well, there we go. So now what we would want is gravel. Gravel, small aggregate storage to be lined up, you know, like say up here, right? Now we're going to need a conveyor or two. Yeah, that works. Not overly pretty. There we go. So now we should be able to, with two separate, I really don't like these tracks. I want to redo that. But we should be able to get two separate trains, one holding wood and the other one holding crops. Another train doing gravel. And that'll pour in through here. They have a warehouse and the aggregate storage as buffers. And then the next thing we're going to need is to get oil up here, but we also need an exit point. So what I'm hoping to be able to do here is, let's go back to the storage options and we'll come to the warehouse. So if we were to take, and let's see, I just want to level this a little tiny bit. Just so it doesn't look quite so bad. Can we get a warehouse? Because I can get a pipe in there, I'm almost certain. Is that too far away for a road connection? Nope. So there you go. So whatever, when we put out chemicals, they can go into this warehouse. And then the next thing we're going to need is probably is definitely a tank of some sort. I think would be a good idea. And I don't think we need a pump for this, but so we could put a tank like right there, and then we'll have to have. Oh wait, you know what? Let's turn that. Wait, pause. All right, so now let's see. I want an input this way and an output that way. Puts the road in kind of a weird spot, well, especially if we're gonna have a railroad right there. Let's take it. Let's delete it again. Let me just bring it back this way a little bit so I can get this road in and also get a railroad coming into that one, right? And I'm pretty sure we're awful flexible with our piping. As a matter of fact, we're on the piping screen anyway. Can I just go like this? Okay, so now what we can do, E. Yep, there we go. So we have a pipe in and out of there, and then we're going to need a train to unload. Yeah, let's go to the train section. Right, yeah, fuel unloading. So we would bring oil in here, which means we'll have to get an oil thing, which probably just leave it over this way a bit. Right, and then we should be able to go back to our pipes. I don't see any reason why we can't just do that. Now we could always truck oil up here, but we're gonna train it up. So let's make sure we can get a train connection. And I'll just go like this, and then level that out nicely. And again, I don't picture any more than one train because we'll have the oil tank as a buffer. And hopefully that all flows. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure that if you need a pump in here, hopefully we'll be able to jam it in one way. And yeah, so there you go. So now we have everything we need to make a chemical, and then we have a place to output it. So the next thing to do would just be to see, you know, I don't really plan on anything really needing, you know, like a permanent road connection. I'm gonna come back out. And let's just go like that. So where would the road? I mean, if we had to have a road coming in and out, yeah. See, this guy's going to need a road here. So this guy, do we bring it? I think we're better off going across like this. And this guy can attach there, and then we still got to get this one and this one attached. Let's bring this guy down to like here. And then can we get somebody across here? Yes, if we go the right way. This needs to be. Well, that guy, yeah, look at that. Boy, I don't know. I mean, I am on the test version here. Let's see, that guy might just go, yeah, nicely right out of there. I don't know if they improved that road connecting, making it a little more friendly, but that certainly was about as easy as I've seen it. All right, so then now, is there any, see, all of this I would consider, all, not temporary, of course, but, you know, we have like a nice little flat, you know what I'm going to do? Build that. Let's just get rid of this and see, can we come off of this road at a straight, yes, we can come off at a nice angle. With that. That's how you make a Y intersection. Yeah, we want to stay away from where our railroad connection is going to be, don't we? So let's. In other words, when we have train coming in and out of here, we might have to get rid of this road, but there you go. At least all that's connected, and we don't have power in here yet. We'll have to get that in a minute. But we do need... Now this chemicals will have a train connection coming out of it too. So let's do that first. And this has its train connection. So do we... Well, yeah. I don't know. Do we bring the train straight down here and in? Which is kind of... You know, if I were to build a town, I'd like to put it right here. So I'm thinking, let's do a train connection. And either way, we have to kind of come that far, right? So I'm thinking, do I like come here? It's funny how you can do like a nice smooth turn like that, but the thing isn't estimating it, right? think I'm just going to run this like parallel to this guy. And that way I can, like, there's not a conflict with the single track. You know what I mean? Like, there could be one train kind of on each. I really don't like this. Let's, you know, before we go too much further, let's just... Definitely, yeah, no, I definitely want to, so maybe that's the idea. Maybe we, oh, no, not that kind of track. Maybe we try to get these just to be separate connections completely. Here's a question. Can I put... Yes, I'll be able to put semaphores on each one of those so that way it's just, we're going to treat this like two completely separate train tracks, you know, like two separate trains with two different routes. Though we could possibly do, hey, go pick up corn and go pick up the wood, right? So we'll have to see how we decide about that. But anyway, whatever. That will work perfectly well in any event when we have two separate like that. There we go. So now we have a connection here, connection there. This doesn't need a connection. That has its connection. And we need to get power. Can we get one single... Well, I don't even know if one single power thing is big enough, is it? Yeah, well, it's definitely big enough in its range, but we don't... Yeah, we'd have to stay in this neighborhood. Oh, spin it around. No, it doesn't. Can't put it. Let's do a little bit of leveling, because I might be able to get it closer if I... Yeah, I really want to... Well, let's see. Can I spin it? Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? I don't know if you guys can see what's happening. Let me zoom in. Well, say if you zoom in too far, then you can't see that it just... Oh. Okay. We're going to take it. As long as hopefully we can get power wire out. Please let me get a power wire out. Okay. Okay. Good. Now where do we want to go with said power? Probably down here, right? So let's do another tight as we can turn. Okay, very good. And I kind of want to stay away from the tracks. Yeah, we're going to bring... Let's do as tight as we can turn. Yeah, I want to stay a little bit away from... Come to about here. I don't want to get too close to where we're about to build. You know what? I hate that. That costs you twice as much money. Yeah, I want to stay as far away from that where the railroads will connect. Again, I did it. There we go. All right, so if we build a town, we'll have another separate, which we will have to build a town. So having said that, we don't need any people here. We don't need any people here. We don't need people here. Really, I think the only place we need to get people is there. And let's just take a look with our measuring tool. That's only 200 meters from here. Let's do a better job with this railroad track. What I'm thinking of is, let's see how tight we can get around that building. Because I think I can, yeah, look, we can get a lot tighter. Might even be able to get tighter than that if I really needed to. See, because now if we go back to our handy dandy substation measuring tool. We're only 160 meters from this chemical plant, and that chemical plant's the only thing up here for all that building that's actually going to need workers. So if we built our first house over here. Okay, now I did promise that the next town I built, I would not just use my favorite prefab flats. I was told that I am not stylish enough and it doesn't look very good. So it was recommended, well, this is 162 workers. Why don't we do, why is there a little line between there? Oh, because, well, look, we'll be hooked to power. Well, that's good. I'm not too worried about that. We can do another separate power if we need to. Is there any reason I wouldn't build that right here? No. Because as far as getting these roads here, I can always have them go through town. So let's keep it right there. All right, so then what I would do is actually going back to roads, let's build an asphalt road for this one. And we'll build the asphalt road. Well, let's see. We're going to need a whole town here, aren't we? But we can put the town off to this, yeah, sort of this side. Yeah, so let's put a road. I'm going to put the road close by there. And where can we connect? Can I connect there and get around this? There we go. And this would be the kind of place that we might want to actually have trucks taking chemicals out of here one day. Like the other ones are definitely just going to get supplied by train. I don't see myself ever driving. Once we get it set up, we're just going to have trains bringing the stuff in. But I could see with these electrical components and the things that need chemicals, like the plastic factory, we may choose to do some of that with trucks, because we'll just see. It depends on how big we want to make those other industries. The point being, and I just leveled that out so I could kind of do the road. Yeah, let's do like that. Delete this guy for now. And then what is this? Oh, that's our oil tank. So we really just, nobody goes to the oil tank. Let's just build him a nice little dirt road where he can do that. These other ones, I don't mind that most of these are gravel. This one really doesn't need to be, but you know, maybe we'll pull gravel out of this thing at some point, you know, so it won't hurt to at least have a gravel road. And then this is a warehouse. This doesn't need two road connections, does it? No. So let's delete that. We're going to delete. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I just make it less construction option. There you go. All right, so let's commit to things. We have everything. Yeah, there we go, guys. We have a construction thing. Now we need to get this guy. So I think I'm going to build the fancy roads. Where is it? Yeah, like here. Those trees are kind of blocking my view. Can we get another? Let's see. Can we get another house in between those tracks? Let's see. What else do we have? So we have Flats Brick 41. How many does this hold? 43. $170. Oh, that's too big. How about this? That's a fine looking building, isn't it? Let's get it closer to here. All right, there we go. So that should be, I think that's going to be enough workers for just our one chemical plant. Now we might decide to put some other industry in this area, but let's see how much room our town takes up first. So do we do a big, no, I think for now we just do a small store. Don't worry about it, because again, I don't really see this getting that big. Though we could do like a warehouse, huh? Nah, but the warehouse, whatever. We're just gonna. Now, you know what? Let's get fancy. Why be lazy? All right, I'm gonna be fancy about this somehow. So if I were to do a warehouse, I'd kind of want it like where we would connect like this, right? But I don't want that to build this road. I guess we're going to have to delete it. So if we put a small store there, and then we got a warehouse, I would probably put the warehouse this way. And then we would have to come back to here and put in a grocery store. I guess we would put the grocery store like here, right? Let's leave a little extra room. You know what? Can we squeeze a pub? Oh, wait a second. Look at this. What is this? This is new. Ah, never mind. So what is the small? Ah, so it's like a little shopping center. Well, small shopping center. All right, let's try that. Fancy new. I just deleted our warehouse. Yeah, I was wondering why the pub wasn't right here. Okay. Oh, look, we don't have any. Okay, we just have a regular road connection. Okay, but let's go with that. I'm okay with that. Hopefully we have 2 parking spaces anyway. All right, so we're not going to do the warehouse thing. I'd rather try out our new small shopping center. And let's get rid of this guy. Good. So now we need the pub. Well, let's put the pub. Either way, it's gonna connect to that road, mess my perfect road up. And then we're gonna need. Oh yeah, that definitely changes things, doesn't it? And how you would jam in like a small city like this. Let's get this guy as close as we can, and I want to leave a little more space like this so we can definitely get a path down there. I think I'm seeing some room. Yeah, we can shove a tennis court in. Right? So now they have food, cinema, sports, and a pub. That should be all they really need. Other than, we definitely want to get a firehouse. Why don't we put our firehouse up this way? Is that gonna? Why don't we put it as close to the river as we can get it? Just because I don't think I'd build much else right in that one spot. Like if we ever build another industry. Yeah, why won't you attach? I think you really will attach. Still going to do it automatically with the road. Some other infrastructure. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I don't really need that there anyway. Fine. You'll attach now. So let me come back in here and we're going to delete all of that. And then we're going to delete all of that. Asphalt road. Oh yeah, you know what? That was kind of dumb. You know what? We're going to also delete that. There we go. Good show. And we can kind of come. There we go. Now we don't have like 18 separate construction projects. They can pave that all in one big shot after they get done paving that in one big shot. And then we can reconnect all our roads nicely. Leave that there just as a reminder. And when it comes to the power, I don't think... See, I didn't think like this guy would have power anyway. But let's double check here real quick. Where is our power thing? Yeah, see, that guy's not going to have it. But that's okay. I'm perfectly content to maybe put, yeah, right where our connection is anyhow. And I want to delete that. So I don't need an asphalt road going into that guy for sure. And then let's see if we can't get our power. This will fill up this substation completely, which probably not the best thing in the world, but you know what, let's so we have to get over there. I don't want to get into this too much just until it's built, even though it is kind of well laid out. So let's try to just take it. Think reasonable power line. Turn off our wireframe. But that's a lot of construction work. Well, I think that's it. I mean, I'm probably forgetting something and maybe you're screaming at me, but I think we have a chemical here. One more thing we can do is let's click on, oops. Click on, can I just get the name there? Probably gave it its own name, but let's forget exactly what the name was now. Sorry. All right, so rename it to how about Chemsaw? Look a little bit like Warsaw, but Chemsaw. I don't know. There you go. So we have Chemsaw. So there we go. We got plenty of work to do. Let's play the game a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I still have, we're not even done Lumbriska, so I'm not sure. I think, you know, what I'll end up doing is playing forward, you know, a fair amount. I mean, I think you guys have seen building houses before, but I certainly won't go too far, and I definitely won't go so far that I'm actually firing up an industry. You know, I'll come back when we're getting, you know, just some of the grunt work, like all these railroads, you know, actually laid out there and stuff like that. You know, like just whenever there's anything even mildly interesting. Let's get all these things set up. Yeah, I'm surprised how well that worked out. I think they tweaked it. So, by the way, I'm on the test version as of April 24th here when I'm recording this, which I think the video will go up tomorrow. So just know that it seems to me to have been a lot friendlier at that point. Come into that, and we also have pipe. We have a little bit of everything, huh? All right, let me cut the video for a second, and I will be back after I take a short break. Sorry about that. Just had to take care of something real quick, but I am back and in action. So the only thing I want to add about this, oh, let me play it again. I just stopped it because I went away from the computer, is I have plenty of work to do, so I'm not going to connect or try to connect this rail yet. And I think that I kind of made a mistake in that I probably want to have two rails at least back to this point, right? So that way we don't get too much traffic in and out being an issue. I think I can delete some things and move them around later on. The other reason, and probably the main reason for not connecting it, is I want to, let's go see how we're doing down here. Good, we're not jammed up. I'm really not happy with this intersection. Like I don't like this little jut out there, and I know I have the depot here, which is kind of complicating things a bit. But I really want to get how I'm going to do the intersections worked out. So once I have this working pretty much fully, and then I'll work on actually doing these other intersections, because the more I've thought about it, I really don't like this crisscross. I mean, the crisscross is wonderful in some respects, but if this is the main line, every time a train gets into this block, it's going to stop the train coming the other way. So there's a really good chance that I'm going to end up deleting this and coming up with some other way to get the trains in and out. But I choose not to think about it too much, because until I get the tracks done, I think I'm, or at least done enough that I can start turning them into one way and such. Like, so let's get this one done, and then we can make this all one way, and then we can work out the bugs with what's the best way to get these guys in and out of here, most efficient, and then even work in how we'll get the depot connected. Might even end up connecting the depot kind of someplace else, right, where we're not affecting the main track as minimally as possible. But we'll see. I'm curious to see what's the best way to do a T intersection like this versus, a crossing intersection, if we ever had such a thing. I know we can do railroad bridges and stuff like that, so. But at least if I work out how to do a T intersection fairly well, I won't waste a lot of time, trying to design this one, especially when this guy has this extra little bit coming in. And so when I get up to this point and we have the rails built, then I'll worry about, connecting the rail up here in an efficient manner. And hopefully by then I'll know what I'm doing a little bit better with the signaling and all that kind of stuff. So, but in the meantime, there's 10 tons of things for us to work on over here. All of this is connected by roads. It all needs to be built, and I don't see any reason why I would really change too much about the rails, other than to add like 2 lanes in right here, and we can do that in another episode. So there we go. So we're still all busy working. I know I spent another episode 90% paused, but at least in the meantime, that's not a construction site. Yeah, so this guy hasn't even really started building the bus platform yet. So for those that want to see a bunch of construction, sorry, but you really wouldn't have seen a lot of construction anyway, right? And I don't have a bus platform down here, do I? Let's do that. Will it fit in there? Boy, it would really be nice if you fit in there. No, you're not going to fit in there? I'm not here. No, need flat terrain? Well, look, we got a new fancy flat terrain tool. Good thing my excavator's not, or my bulldozer's not busy. Yeah, so this is where this new tool is key. And for those people that don't like building leveling, there you go. Now they have their way of doing it without having to level with buildings much. You know what? I'm going to spin that guy around. Yeah. It's kind of far away from all the people, though, isn't it? Yeah. You know what? I changed my mind. Yeah, let's do it like this, even though that's a little... Oh, come on. There we go. So now let's... what is that? Tennis court. All right. Let's see about connecting some footpaths. Yeah, no reason I wouldn't just go right across the back of all of those, right? You know, I want to come up to like here. You know what? I don't want to connect all those. They're going to make a 47 separate project issue. Yep, deleted everything. It puts it back together when you do that. Yeah, I don't want 47 separate paving or gravel laying projects there. So there we go. But we'll get some footpaths in, and we'll see, probably put a footpath in across here, right? I already have one right there. So we don't really want one there, do we? Can we get around here? Yeah, look at that. Same thing here. I won't connect all these up, but that'll give them a nice, yeah, we'll have a little footpath there. Wonderful. Good. All right, well, I think I'm going to call it an episode. Maybe the way it's working out, like I said, I'll get a bit done during the thing, and maybe I'll even try to think, now that our money's not a huge issue, maybe I'll make sure I take care of all of our population thing and figure out a way maybe I could fast forward through some of it, you know, like without, the problem is when I fast forwarded before, it was like this. Oops, thank you, save game. I was trying to demonstrate something. Like it ended up looking like this. Sorry, I don't want to make anybody seasick, but it was like, you know, because I'm just constantly going between the different stations and saying, okay, are you guys done yet? And either that or I want to leave the screens up. You know, you could put up, oops, that's the depot. You know, you can put up multiple different screens and leave them kind of piled up in the corner here, and you know, where I'd have them like this or like this, where I could see both constructions. And anyway, I think you guys get the idea. So we'll see. I'll do a little work off camera, and then I'll decide after, and by then hopefully I'll have some more feedback from you guys about your opinions. The episode that is all construction, I think, is just going up now as I'm recording this the day before. The day before this one will go up. So there we go. How is our radio station doing? Our radio station is doing slow. How is our gravel holding up here? It's going down pretty significantly, but we'll see. I don't think we need a lot of gravel. And I think I have 2 trucks coming over here with gravel, so at least that shouldn't be the problem. But hey, they'll keep plugging away at that. And then the other question will be, yeah, I think probably in between the episodes, I may shift this guy to working over here. And then, like I said before, I'll probably at least make the Lumbrisca a full construction crew and get them working on some of the buildings. And then maybe one of the first buildings I build will be this firehouse. And then I'll try to put our warehouse back in just to save some time going to get all the components. Not sure. From here, you may be better off going back to Gateway Love anyway, because you're getting kind of far from there. But anyway, we'll work that out. And eventually, hey, we'll have chemicals, which puts us one big step closer to making our own electrical components. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching. Please, I want to say one more thing, because I haven't said it in a while. I do want to thank everyone who leaves the likes and anybody who's subscribed. It does mean personally a good amount to me. It's not a matter of, sure, it helps other people see the videos and it helps the channel grow, which makes me happy too. But it does actually, I really look forward to seeing your likes. And if you have a dislike, I don't mind that a person leaves a dislike. I just ask maybe leave a comment with it. Like, you know, I'd like to know what you didn't like about it. That's all's fair, right? Not everybody's going to like everything. And if you didn't like something, at least I understand, you know, what one person didn't like. So anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.